This is a video that's going to go into a ECG demonstration, or EKG, the electrocardiogram, using the Logger Pro. Now, I've already shot a video of a demonstration in class, and this is what the results look like. And so what I'm going to do is go over basic principles of ECG and how we can actually measure it. And brought to you by Curious Marineland. So let's see if you remember this. Now in class we cover this, that the electrocardiogram is a way of measuring the electrical activity of the heart. And you have the standard graph. Let's see. This student's right here, you can see here's their P, their QRS, their T. Here's their P, QRS, T, P, QRS, T. And if you're never used Logger Pro, if you look at the top here, you have to attach a probe to it. So all this I'm going to go to in the video in a second. So let's just go back to my PowerPoint really quickly. If you're one of my students, you copy down notes like this in class where we break down what the P, the PQ, the QRS, the ST, and the T all represent. This is just some other things. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to combine this video with the actual live demonstration. But I wanted to go over some of the things that we utilize in class. For example, the different probes. And here's your ECG, the rhythm. And so you can see here's your P, QRS, and that would be the T. You can see the different attachment points. This is a lot more elaborate what you would see in a hospital than what we see here, what we use here in a high school anatomy and physiology lab. And of course the purposes of this, and if you're one of my students, you can pause this for a second and take a larger picture. This is actually from a PowerPoint from your notes. So here's again the intervals. What we use it for is to detect the rhythm of the heart, and we can also use it to see if there's any abnormalities. So here's a normal one, and here's an abnormality, and this has a name, this has a name. I'm not going to go in through all of them now. We do that in class, and if you really want to, this is a handout from class that we filled out, and you can pause and check the answers. Here's the next one. Each one of these, next one, is something that deviates. See, the thing about this is recognizing, for example, if you look over here, tachycardia, the waves are closer than they should be. Here again, the P, the QRS, the T. So that's pretty much what we're going to be using. And so I'm going to go ahead and stop this video and transition. And so as soon as you see this little thing here, you should see the actual live student demonstration. What you're looking at is a little cartoon that helps us see how to attach the probes for an electrocardiogram or ECG. So what we have is we've got our standard Logger probe, and we have the software, and these are the alligator clamps that are going to connect to the receptors. Now the receptors are going to be, like you just saw in the picture, they're going to be attached at various parts of the patient's body. Now traditionally you'll put a probe here, on the wrist, and then one on the other arm. What we've done, and you'll see in a second, is we put one down here at the ankle. My colleague Jason Schweitzer figured that out a couple of years. We got better conductance with that distance. It seems the software works pretty well with that. So let's go ahead and look at our patient. He's volunteered. And so on our right side we've got the green probe, and then on the left we've got the red, and then down here is where we put the ankle. Traditionally we would put that about right here. So the next thing we have to do is just run it. Now it's probably not going to show up in the computer. The computer probably won't show up on the screen, but with the software as it's connected, and main thing, let's show over here how it's connected. So we've got our Logger Pro, we're in channel 1, and then there's a USB that plugs in, and the software comes in. You have to tell it to find the right channel, which we've already done, and all I have to do is hit collect. If our patient would sit quite patiently, we'll be able to do this, and here we go. Alright, and that's it. So pretty much what's going to happen next is I do a save as. I'll save, and because I log on to the laptop and I create a folder, and then all the students do that, and then I can print their forms so I can bring that. So that's how we do an EKG or ECG here in a high school lab for anatomy and physiology.